Doing data projects is a cheat code in your data career. If you have not done one before, or if you have not done one recently, I highly recommend starting a data project today.
Welcome to the Data Career Podcast, the podcast that helps aspiring data professionals land their next data job. Here's your host, Avery Smith.
All right, you guys, welcome back to another episode of the Data Career Podcast. I just watched the Super Mario Brothers movie. Have you guys seen that yet? I loved it. I grew up with Mario. I grew up with all the games. I grew up playing Super Smash Brothers, Mario Kart. And so I thought the movie was awesome. And I'm going to tell you why that movie relates to data projects here. All right. So if you've never played Mario Kart before, first off, you're missing out. It's basically a car racer game that has all these different Mario characters in it. And you can kind of play dirty. So you can have these items fall out of the sky, and these items might be able to do different things in different cars and give you advantages or maybe even disadvantages. One of the best items inside of the Mario Kart game is this little mushroom. So this little mushroom falls from the sky, and what happens when you take the mushroom? You get very fast, very quickly. All of a sudden, you might be flooring it inside of your little Mario Kart car, but you get this mushroom and you get an even bigger boost. And basically, projects are the mushrooms in the data world. We take these projects and it'll accelerate our career no matter where we're at inside of the process. And if you're like, Avery, that was over my head, I don't even know what you're talking about with the whole Mario Kart thing. It's almost like you're at the airport, right? When you go at the airport, there's these moving walkways, a really long treadmill, right? And you're going in the airport, you're walking in the halls, and all of a sudden you hop on that thing and all of a sudden you're taking off. You're going fast. You're going faster than the other people who are, to the left or the right of you who aren't on that moving walkway. And that is the same thing as what a data project can do for your career. Now let's talk about why that's the case. Why are data projects so good for accelerating our career? One is it's realistic. It is one of the most realistic ways to learn. It's actually like you're trying to solve a real world problem. And that's what real world is like, right? You're just trying to mimic what you would do in real life and just practice that. How do we get better at anything in life? We have to practice. If we want to get good at doing data analytics, we have to practice doing data analytics, and we should practice it in the most realistic way possible. I've told this story before, but I grew up playing soccer since I could basically walk age 3 till I was a sophomore in college. So I even played at the collegiate level, and I love soccer. I always got better every time I played soccer. You can do little made up drills like juggling, right? Juggling is just like when you keep the ball in the air with your feet, or maybe you do some cones. And do those help you? Sure. But they're not really game realistic. Never in my life in a real soccer game did I start to bring the ball up out of the air and keep it in the air, juggling. Or I never dribbled around a cone in a real game in my life, right? So in order for me to get better at soccer, I had to practice realistic soccer things. That meant doing scrimmages, practice shots, practice passes. Those are the things that actually made me better as a soccer player. And doing data projects is basically equivalent to that for becoming a better data analyst, data scientist, data engineer, data professional in general. Projects are also really key for showing your skills versus telling your skills, right? Anyone can say, I know how to jump 50 feet in the air. It's not hard to say that, right? I can jump 50 feet in the air. But, if you said that to someone, they said, okay, show me. And that's kind of where the rubber meets the road. You have to actually be able to back it up. And so you can say that you know SQL, you can say you know Tableau, you can say you know Python, but can you back it up? Can you show me your skills instead of telling me your skills? And that's what projects allows you to do. So not only are you going to be learning in a realistic way, but that realistic way is going to be evidence that you can actually do what your resume says you can do. The third reason to like projects and do projects is because they're freaking fun. Actually doing projects is really fun because you're basically a data detective and you're trying to create some sort of analysis about something you're really interested in, something you're really passionate about. And so instead of just doing a boring exercise that really has no purpose, right? You're actually doing something fun. This is kind of an analogy, and I'm not sure if it's going to work or not, but when I go to the gym, sometimes I'm just like, man, I'm just doing all these weight push-ins and it's doing absolutely nothing. How cool would it be if every time I did a bench press, that it charged my phone a little bit? That would be really cool and really motivating for me. So exercises, they're just kind of a little bit repetitive, but projects, you're actually making progress and actually having fun. So they're a great way to learn. They're a great way to show your skills, to get the evidence, and they're fun. So really, there's no downside to doing data projects. So because data projects are so awesome and I enjoy them so much, I'm starting a club. It's called the Data Project Club. You can go to dataprojectclub.com, or you can click the link in the show notes down below, and that will take you there to learn more about it. But basically, it's exactly what the name says it is. It's a club where we do data projects. Now, what is this club actually? Let's first talk about what it's not. This club is not for beginners. Okay, it can be for beginners, but it's not a boot camp. If you want a bootcamp, go check out the Data Analytics Accelerator, where I'll teach you everything you need to know to land your first data job. This is for people who have already gone through some sort of a bootcamp or a master's degree, and they want to practice their skills. They want to build their portfolio. They want to make data friends. Those are the three things we're going to be working on: practicing our skills, making data friends, and building our data portfolio. So notice I use the word practice there. We're going to be learning, of course, as we go, but really this is about practicing and learning as we go. This is not learning from scratch. So there's not going to be a ton of guided learning. You will have teammates and you can learn from them. And I'm going to do a live session every month where I'll be teaching you one, part of the project, but I'm not going to be teaching you how to do this project from A to Z. You'll have to use the skills that you've learned previously or your teammates to help you go through these different projects. Like I said, the three things we want to do is practice our data skills, build our data portfolio, and make data friends. Those are the three things we're going to be working on, because every month we're going to get a project of the month. This is basically a data set and some sort of project prompt that will help you get started on what to do with this data set. Using this data set, you want to take the skills you've already learned and apply them to this data set. So if you only know Excel, then you can do the project in Excel. If you know Excel, Tableau, SQL, Python, R, you get to choose, because in real life, you get to choose. And so we're just trying to mimic real world situations for you to practice on your own. Now, also I want to say that this is for data analysts, this is for data scientists, and even data engineers. I haven't quite figured out how you guys are going to flow with each other yet, but whatever you do in the data world, you'll be able to apply to this data project and do something in the data lifecycle that would be applicable and helpful in your data journey. At the end of the day, you have to be knowing what you're doing, or at least have a teammate that knows what you're doing, or you just want to be there to learn and to grow and accept that, maybe this will be a little bit over my head, but I'm still willing to go full feed in and try to figure it out. With that said, it is probably for more intermediate and more advanced data practitioners. I typically will tell my Data Analytics Accelerator students to do this after the program's completed. Inside the Data Analytics Accelerator, we'll learn Excel, SQL, Tableau, Python, R, Power BI. And once you get a feel for that, we'll do 9 guided projects together inside the Accelerator. And then it's a good time to go to the Data Project Club, because at that point, you kind of understand how to do a project. You understand all these different tech skills that you could possibly use. So it is probably more of an intermediate to advanced practitioner. If you want to learn more about the Data Analytics Accelerator, I'll have a link to it in the show notes down below. Okay, so we talked about what it's not, but what is the Data Project Club? Well, first off, we're going to have that monthly data set. Every single month, it's going to be a realistic data set that you can take and do data analysis or data engineering on. With that, I'm going to be giving you some sort of a prompt that will help you get started. I'll basically act as your boss at this different companies, and I'll say, do this with the data, or we want to look at this as a business. Can you help us do that? So you'll have the data set and the project prompt. With that, I'm also going to be doing live calls during the month, usually between 1 and 2, a kickoff and kind of an ending call, where I'll show you what I did, how I approached this project, and help you get started. With that, we're also going to have a competition where we'll take some different awards. Maybe it's the best project or the best presentation or like the most creative. We'll have different competitions every month where you'll be able to win prizes like books or free opportunities to join the Data Project Club. We'll also have a monthly book club that accompanies the Data Project Club. So the book of the month is going to be applicable to what we're working on inside of the project. And we can talk to each other about different parts of the book that we found really useful. We can talk about certain page numbers, certain paragraphs. It's just going to be an opportunity for us to be reading the same book every single month. It's going to be a lot of fun. Next, there's going to be team collaboration. So, in real life, you have to work with your teammates, your coworkers, right? And so in this program, I'm not going to force you to work with a team, but it's highly encouraged to work with a team. So you'll be able to have teammates and go through the real world situation of actually trying to solve real data world problems as a real world data team. We're also going to have co-working sessions. So basically, we're going to have 1 to 2 sessions a month where it's just blocked out on our calendar that we're going to work on the project at this time. We're going to hop on a live call, and it's going to be silent on the live call. But if you have questions, you can ask, unmute yourself and talk inside of the live call and ask any questions you have. And we as a community will be able to help you and support you and kind of walk you through your ideas. So that way you can kind of brainstorm as not only a team, but like a bigger data community all at once. Inside the community, I'm going to be giving you something called the Project Write-Up Guide. The Project Write-Up Guide is basically my 8-step suggestions for how you should actually write up a project. Doing a project is hard, but even publishing that project, sharing that project, this is what I learned part of the project is often the hardest for a lot of people. You might know how to do data analytics, but you might not know how to share data analytics as well as you maybe should. So writing articles, writing reports, making videos, demonstrations, that's something that we'll be doing inside the Data Project Club. Kind of the data storytelling part of, data analysis. We'll be focused on that a lot. And as a member inside the club, you'll get access to that project prompt or that 8-step project guide for absolutely free. Next, we're going to have community and community chat and forums. So doing data projects on your own can be a little trouble sometimes because you don't know what to do when you get stuck. So we're going to have different threads, different forums, different chats that will help you get unstuck. That is also really key for making data friends. You have the opportunity to network with literally hundreds of like-minded individuals who are working on the same project as you. These people can maybe lead to your next job. They can teach you something new. Honestly, the opportunities are somewhat limitless, and meeting new people is always a good thing. The last thing inside the Data Project Club is we'll have feedback. So feedback is basically the opportunity to get feedback on your project from your peers or from experts. They'll basically walk through, different parts of your project, what you did well, what you can maybe have done better. So inside the Data Project Club, we're going to have 3 different pricing tiers: the basic, the pro, and the premium. The basic is free. Absolutely everyone should join it. And if you haven't joined, you definitely should. With the basic, you're going to get the project of the month realistic data set, which means you'll have access to the same data set as everyone else. You're going to get the project of the month prompt. So that is the prompt that actually is walking you through, what you could possibly do with this project. Like, what is your actual assignment inside of the Data Project Club? You also get access to the 1-hour live mini course. So I'm going to be going live once a month. You're welcome to come on that call, see what I did, see what the winners did, see what some of the other members of the club did, and just enjoy the community. You also will get access to the monthly book club. So you'll be able to know what book we're reading, as well as have the full community forum for the book club. You will also get the project write-up guide. The ability to write up projects and you follow those 8 steps is inside the basic tier. You'll get a monthly project badge, which is really awesome. You can post that on LinkedIn, and you'll have the ability to be part of the Data Project Network. So pretty awesome for the basic tier. Moving up to the pro tier, you get everything we just talked about inside of the basic, but you get full community access. This means you get access to every single channel inside of the community platform, which is pretty much like Slack. So picture a really big Slack group. You'll get access to everything inside of that. You also will get access to the recordings of the lives and every single previous project. So not only inside of Pro will you have this month's project, but you'll have last month's project and the month before that and the month before that, all that good stuff. You're going to get all of the files that I use inside of the project. So any code files, any Tableau files, any SQL scripts, I'm going to give that to all of you. And you also will get project teammates. So I will assign you matching teammates that you can work with for the duration of the month so you can actually collaborate. This is a real world situation where you're kind of not choosing your teammates, you're getting assigned them, and it's a good opportunity. It's going to be harder, but it's going to be better. Okay. You also will be able to come to those co-working sessions that we'll do once or twice a month, where basically we're going to all be on a call together. And if we have any questions, we can ask one another. That right there is the pro tier, and that is $19 a month. Then we'll have the premium tier. The premium tier is everything that the pro tier has, but basically you get a little bit more extra access. Some of the access includes expert support and expedited support. So if you have a question, me or my team will be able to answer your question a little bit faster. You're going to have premium teammates. So that way we can make sure the teammates, if you're in the premium tier, you'll have premium tier teammates. You'll get access to the Data Project Bible, which is basically an ebook that I wrote about everything about projects and portfolios that I know. That usually is $100. So you guys can join the premium. You'll get that included for the lifetime of your subscription. You also will get expert feedback on your projects. This means me or a member of my team will be looking at your projects individually and giving you detailed feedback on what you could do better and what you could improve. So there you go. That is $49 a month, but you guys can join any of those with a coupon 25 off. So the first 50 members of the club will be able to join with 25% savings. And that savings applies for the duration that you're inside of the club, which is absolutely awesome. That means that, it applies this month, next month, forever. So this is a great deal for the first 50 members inside the program. So be sure to click on the description in the show notes down below that you can click on the link dataprojectclub.com and sign up. This platform is hosted on Heartbeat, by the way. If you've never used Heartbeat before, it's very similar to Slack or Discord, but just a little bit easier to use, a little bit easier to join, and a little bit more features. So inside of Heartbeat, you're going to have lots of different channels. Some of these channels you'll be able to access inside of the basic, some you'll be able to access inside of the pro, and some you'll only be able to access inside of the premium. This is a place where we can basically talk to one another, ask each other questions, do different votes on what we want to do or when we want to meet. This is an opportunity that you can also network and meet other people, like-minded individuals who are going through the exact same process as you and have the same interests as you. Heartbeat is completely free. You can access it on your desktop, your browser, or your phone, and it's a really clean app. I'm really enjoying it so far. Okay, so that is everything that I have to say about the Data Project Club. You can join once again at dataprojectclub.com, and you can check out using code 25 off to get 25% off the lifetime of your membership. So I hope to see you inside the Data Project Club. Once again, you have until April 30th to join for this first month. You have until that day to use 25 off at checkout to get 25% off. And that is limited to the first 50 people who join. See you guys inside the club.